everybody, Jeff here.
Megan.
She's very excited.
I am.
It's been a long day.
That's been.
But we are coming to you again with another Kickstarter project. So we got sent a prototype for Wizard Dodgeball that Megan and I took a look at. And eventually at some point you'll see playing behind us here. But Wizard Dodgeball, kind of what it sounds like. You take the joy of dodgeball, so missing school, and you combine that with your Quidditch.
Don't even.
So you take dodgeball, you throw wizards in the mix, and of course spells are going to start flying. And from there, it's a two-player game, and one side tries to eliminate the other. You basically have three things that you can do on your turn, and you can do any combination of them. You get basically two actions, and you can mix and match however you want. You can move, you can cast a spell, and you can throw a ball. So by doing that, you attempt to eliminate the other side, and of course, anybody that's played dodgeball, you know, dodgeball rules. If they catch the ball, the thrower's out. You mix in things like fireballs and freeze spells and making people drop balls and all that good stuff. And you've got Wizard Dodgeball. What did you think of this one?
I liked it. It was clever. I think it's a very unique idea. I love dodgeball, so that was the fun part. I still have to, I'd like to play it a few more times just to get the spells down a little bit more, to figure out how to utilize them better than I did, obviously, because I got annihilated. But overall, clever concept. That was really well played.
I think we went a little spell light. I think towards the end we started flinging a few more spells once we kind of got into the mix. One of the things too is the way we played kind of beginner style, and that was just to pass out the wizards. There's actually a drafting mechanic where you can kind of draft your dodgeball team. So, you know, think of the kids lined against the fence, and you're with me, and you go with Megan, and Megan is over there gleefully waiting to be able to pick the person last because she knows how that makes them feel.
It's true.
So we didn't do that part. We just went ahead and did 5 random players on each side. So there is a little bit more that can go into that if you want to kind of start getting into the whole picking your team and making sure you have this amount of movement, somebody that's good at dodge, somebody who's good at casting spells, all that kind of stuff. But I think to get to that point, you do have to play a few times. You got to understand, like, these dice are powerful, these dice are not so powerful, what a move means, all that good stuff, what the stats on the wizard cards mean. That part doesn't take as much, but I think it's just getting used to the dice, getting used to the spells, like Megan kind of said. And then you can kind of really start going and working with drafting a team, because your team also makes up how many points and spells you can have. So, for instance, I think in our game, Megan had a team that could pretty much have any spell she wanted, but maybe not as much movement, I think. I think you had a slower team, but you could cast more spells, where I had a limited amount of spells, but my guys were like moving in, you know, taking 2 movements meant I grabbed a ball and was back across the line almost in a single turn. So that was kind of interesting mix. What are you chuckling about?
I think it's apropos. It's the nerdy smart kids who can use magic are slower than the athletic kids.
Yeah, so
clever.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a good mix, I think. It did a good job of balancing the two out. Although once you've got your spells and you've got your characters, well, what I'm going to say is actually somewhat inaccurate. I was going to say anybody can cast a spell, but there are dice involved with casting a spell as well, and some of those characters might be weaker at casting spells. So the faster kids could be weaker at casting spells as well, and it'd be easier for the other side to resist that spell being cast upon them, and we had that happen a few times. You know, there is a lot of randomness in this game, so if you don't like the random aspect of a lot of games, this may not be for you. For this style of game, for as quick as this game goes, for it being one-on-one, I think you can also play teams. So I think you can take this potentially up to like 4 or so, and you split up the characters on each side. maybe even 6, 3-on-3. There's, however you want to do it. But there's a little bit of player elimination, right? But the fact is it's not really, because it's one side is completely gone and the game ends. So it's not like I get knocked out and now I'm waiting for the game to finish so I can see what everybody else is doing. It's Megan and I playing against each other. I get knocked out, game's over. So that's not a big issue. I think in this style of game, I'm actually fine with the amount of randomness. I think that adds to it. I mean, you're just kind of moving across a pretty narrow board and whipping balls at each other and casting spells. And if I miss, I miss. If I roll doubles and catch the ball Megan throws at me, that's actually pretty awesome and kind of cool to to deal with. So in this style of game, I like it because I'm not really necessarily sitting down and hoping to plan out every single thing I do and have none of it be affected by randomness. But I am able to plan out where I move and what bonuses I get or what bonuses the player I'm attacking gets. I might choose not to attack one of Megan's characters that has a ball in their hand because they get a bonus die to try to dodge, things like that. Or that also helps for like where I'm going to cast a spell. If she's got a character that's got well, for instance, the fireball, right? Mm-hmm. She had a character that had a fireball, tried to get her to drop it, couldn't drop it. I got her to freeze, that kind of stuff. So, or vice versa. One of the two things happened. But flinging those spells to try to make that ball a little less dangerous coming across at my end was something that I got to actually try to plan for. But then at the end of the day, I'm still, what are the dice saying is actually going to happen? A lot of times when we have Megan come and look at things, we're looking at it from the casual aspect, but we're also thinking about our nieces and nephews. So what would you think of this one with the nieces and nephews?
I think the older ones, it would work a little bit better, because especially since the strategy involved with the spells and knowing which characters you should attack based on their weakness or strength. So I think older kids better. But I still think overall it's a fun little, every kid loves dodgeball, or I should say most kids love dodgeball. So I think they would really appreciate that. And in fact, I think you could almost play the game without the spells for the younger version.
Yep. No, you definitely
just to
could.
get the dice moving and that aspect of it, just to a basic level.
Yep, kind of break them into...
Which I think, and from a dice perspective game, this is more up my level than a lot. When you're dealing with different, if I'm attacking you, that you have a different way to resist. This is about as far as I can go with these kind of games, because otherwise you lose me.
Yeah, and one of the things, the way we played was you have those 3 different actions, and you mix and match them, and can do one twice if you want to. There is actually a base way that you can play where you do one of each. So you get all 3 of those actions, you go through those 3 actions, and then your turn for that character is over. So, you can even pull it back to that aspect where if you're kind of trying to learn the game, or you've got some kids that you're trying to teach the game to, you can say, okay, you do this, this, and this, and that gets them used to the 3 actions. And then once they're very comfortable with that, very comfortable with some of the other things, you can go, okay, now you have choices on what actions you actually get to take. So that's kind of cool too. I like it when games offer varying ways to play and think about, adding, this is an easier way to get you into the game, and now here you can get a little more advanced, if you will. So there you go. End of the day, Wizard Dodgeball. This was a relaunch. It is on Kickstarter right now. It is going until March 24th, 2015. And I think it's a recommend from all us geeks, right? Yeah, we are highly recommending this game. Apparently our dog is playing Darth Vader in the background. Wow. Talk about being upset she wasn't able to get in on the video. So yeah, this is a recommend from all us geeks. Again, if you're into a more casual style game, this is a great one for 2 players. It's fast, it's quick, and there's that bit of take that element that we love, or I love. So again, slinging the spells and throwing the balls and trying to eliminate your opponent. Good stuff all the way around. Go check it out. Wizard Dodgeball, March 24th, 2015. Thanks again for hanging out with us, and we will see you soon.
Thanks for the sound effects.
No problem.
My guy has died, we know that. Woo! And that's it.